Everybody, it's the Cryptid Huntress, and man, am I so excited to be here today, and I am so excited that you guys are here. I'm watching this chat right now, and I'm loving it. Thank y'all so much to all my moderators who are already here, my channel members, my Patreon members, just everybody, thank y'all for being here. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. We had a fantastic show Saturday night with my good friend and research buddy, David Pardue. So if you guys missed that show, that is 2.5 hours of pure awesomeness. And I hope that you'll go back and watch that. David is a treasure to the Bigfoot community, and he and I will both be at the Georgia Bigfoot Conference coming up in about 3 weeks up in Demarest, Georgia, with a meet and greet that Friday night at a distillery. Okay, not saying I'm going to be drinking, but there's going to be drinks there. If you guys want to come up and hang out with us on that Friday night, that's March 21st and March 22nd. 22nd is the big conference at Piedmont University. So I hope you guys will come see us. I might actually even have a banner for that today. Let me see if I uploaded it. Oh no, guess what? I forgot, I think. Yeah, I forgot. So you guys are gonna have to come see it on my social media. I'll pull it up for the next show on Wednesday. And yeah, I've been so excited about today's show. You guys, I have Erin Elizabeth here in the studio today. We are going to be having the best discussion. She is a relative of Admiral Byrd, okay, of Antarctica, Inner Earth diaries and things like that. We talk about that quite a bit here on the channel. So Erin is brand new to the Cryptid Huntress channel. And so I cannot wait to bring her up. So let's not waste too much time today with the intro. All right. Well, if you guys would like to follow along with all my shows and catch up on my shows, I do have an archive of those on my website. It's thecryptidhuntress.com. I even have a shop there. I've got all my social media links, whatever y'all need. It's over there. And the information about all the conferences and events that I'll be at this year. Most of them are up on my website, but I haven't put a few. Got a lot of events coming up. So y'all go check them out there. Also, I do have a Patreon if you guys would like to support my work. It's the Cryptid Huntress on Patreon. And I've got a shop. It's called War Woman Goods. That's on Etsy for the time being. Again, here's the 2025 Georgia Bigfoot Conference. That's March 22nd. Don't forget, be there or be square. There's a ton of great speakers and really good Bigfoot field researchers, authors, and experiencers and vendors. If you guys want to go buy some Bigfoot merch, y'all go check it out. Okay. All right. Well, let's get to our show today. And this is going to be a treat. This is a treat. We have Erin Elizabeth here, and we're going to be talking about not only her relative, Admiral Byrd, but we're going to be talking about even her experiences with black-eyed people, black-eyed children, black-eyed people, and potentially working with an immortal vampire on a movie set, St. Germain. Okay, so you guys, Erin Elizabeth is a whistleblower, and she's also a filmmaker. She has a lot of talents, she's got a very interesting background, and I want you guys to please help me welcome to the show Miss Erin Elizabeth, and please go to her YouTube channel. It's Erin Elizabeth on YouTube. And welcome to the show.
Hey, Jessica.
Hey, Erin.
Hey, can you hear me and everything?
I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for being here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited, but also I'm feeling weird as usual.
Oh,
you
no.
know.
Well, hey,
all good though. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, thank you. I'm super excited too. And I've been wanting to get you on the show for a long time. And I just was realizing that you are actually good friends with Arkeem Raw, who comes on the show quite often and is a good friend.
Yeah. So, and I do just want to talk about Arkeem for 1 second, because this is what helped me to remember so much stuff and really start putting stuff together. So Arkeem, he's great. But so I went on Rob, typical, and they took his channel down, but he's got a new channel. So that's bad about his old channel. But so I was on his old channel. But
Typical
so I was
skeptic.
up on Rob's podcast. Yeah. And Arkeem was there and Kat was there. And when we were doing the podcast, that's when Arkeem told me that he did remember me from the programs. And then we talked about it later, but also this. Okay. So when I was like, okay, because I knew, like, my whole time here, I've always known, like, something's going on. I'm like, I have something to figure out, just didn't, like, I knew I was working towards something, but just didn't quite know what it was yet, And, I can't see all the chat, and plus my vision's not good, so I don't want anybody to ever think I'm like ignoring them or anything. Like, I'll answer any questions anyone has. But I knew, like, and I was always researching. I was always, I had my first abduction when I was 5 years old, and so that really, after that happened, and see, I mean, I'm still trying to learn about. Like I said, Arkeem helped me remember a lot of stuff and connect the dots and to see that everything that I was researching was connected. But it's taken so long and so many things to happen for me to get, like, really like a full picture. But so in 2019, I met someone who was in the programs. Like, he found me, he started to tell me about it, and he started to tell me, like, I don't even know if he knew that he was in the programs or if he knew fully what was going on, but he was giving me information that I needed for the future. Okay, so basically, if he had not found me, if he had not been giving me the information that he was giving me, I never would have been, because see, and then in 2020, he just like vanished, and I was like, something's up, something's wrong, something has went really, really wrong. And so in me researching to try to find out what had happened to him, I found out about the programs. It took me like 4 years though of research. And so that's how I come across James Rink's channel. On James Rink's channel he had Ishmael Perez on, and I'm pretty sure I've been on missions with Ishmael. It's a place that looks like Arizona or somewhere, space, Mars, I'm not sure. But definitely that. And then also Arkeem. I saw Arkeem on James Rink channel. So yeah, because I said I wanted to begin with like speaking about Arkeem just for a little bit to kind of go into everything. But
okay, well, Erin, let me. I don't mean to interrupt you, but let me back up just a little bit so we can explain to the audience real quick. I didn't mention this in the intro or anything because I didn't know how deep you wanted to get into it today, but you actually have been part of the secret space programs. And and that's something that I didn't include because I was not sure exactly what direction we were going to go in yet, because we have so much we could talk about today. And so so you were actually became friends with Arkeem, and Arkeem very much is open about his secret space program experiences, and as a James Rink, and they're both good friends of mine. And so that's kind of how I found you. You and you contacted me. I think we were talking about, I had done that show on Saint Germain, and and I think that's how you and I became kind of friends online and stuff. And so I'm kind of backing up just a little bit to let the audience know you've got ties to the secret space program. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
go
I've
ahead.
been in the
Go ahead.
programs and never knew, because I never knew, like I said, I never knew anything about the programs until I
Mhm.
started looking for, my friend who found me in 2019. He vanished in 2020. I'm looking for him for years time to figure out what's went on. That's how I found out about all this stuff. And then but also this, when I was on, okay, so like when I saw Arkeem the first time on James's channel, it was like something that I knew there was like this energetic connection. And
Uh-huh.
I was thinking, I feel like I know him, but where do I know him from? And then and it wasn't until maybe like 6 more months or 8 more months that we're both on Rob's channel. And then Arkeem told me, yeah, I remember you from the programs. And then so also he let me know about Max Spears, that I was working with Max Spears in the programs, also Mac Miller in the programs, and then Alondra Markman remembers me
Alondra.
pretty heavy from the programs. And it's like I so much, like just right now, this moment in time, like so much is happening so fast. And it's like, because I want to research everything before I even speak on it, like I'm
Uh-huh.
just that way, because I don't want to get somebody on a, like, I just want to be correct. I just want to make sure I'm right before I tell
Right.
somebody else something and they tell someone else and things like that. But I don't know. And sorry, I get off topic. Like I just branch off and I will
It's
start
okay.
going into another story, because it's really all connected, so
We're
I
all
don't know, but
connected. Erin, I totally feel
exactly.
you. That's how my shows go. We made take a lot of detours when we're talking about, we got the main topic and then we take detours, but it's because everything's so connected. And even
Yeah.
Alondra too. I hung out with him up in Montauk as well. So I'm friends with all these guys you're mentioning, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact. So I'm very familiar with the programs. And so it's really interesting that you're so connected as well with all of this. So that's interesting. And in just a minute, we're going to get into the whole, the genetics maybe, and like why you might be part of these programs and things like that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I was very, very grateful, to find all of the people who I was connected to in the programs, and so that's like now, like
Mhm.
like where we're at now. But with the genetics, okay, so I was 8 years old. When I was 8 years old, I was in an accident. I went into a coma. And so I was in a coma from 1990 until 1991. But when I come out of the coma, I remember one of the first things I thought was like, I just had this feeling. And first off, I was very confused. I didn't know what's going on, at all. But I wanted to research my genetics. And so, okay, so that is like number one, a super odd thing for a kid to be thinking about, especially coming out of a coma, especially back in 1991, because this was like, I mean, nobody even had like computers in their house. There was no like ancestry.com and things like that, and it was something that I had never heard anyone speak of ever. So I know that whenever I'm in the coma, and I'm sure that they did experiments and things like that, because they've done them for the whole time, but especially like if I'm in the hospital, they're gonna like do a lot of like try to figure stuff out. And I do have I'm O negative blood type, which is very rare, and like you can look online and you can see that people with O negative blood type are heavily targeted, and a lot of people MK Ultra, a lot of the musicians, Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, all O negative blood type, so that's something I really like to look at that. And then also Max Spears talks about that. He he can explain it better than I can, but I do have a video up of Max where he's talking about the blood types and how I know you don't like to say this word on your show, and I don't want to get you in trouble, but you said it rhymes with Yahtzee.
Oh yeah, the schmotzy.
The Yahtzee scientists really are interested in O negative blood type, and so that, and man, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I come out. I was 8 years old. It was very difficult at first because there's no internet, there's no nothing. Okay, so I remember this though. So I was at my grand and papa's house one day, and my aunt come over. She had this little blue book. It was this little blue booklet that she had made of some of my grand's bloodline. And I remember looking at it, and I was just fascinated. And I was thinking to myself, this is exactly what I've been looking for, is like this type research. Also there's another weird thing. When I come out of the coma and I got home, I started hearing big band music come out of the ceiling every night. It was so loud. It was so loud that I thought it was my papa listening to like radio in his room, because we used to listen to Art Bell and everything, even when I was a kid. Like he knew too. Like he knew, and he taught me about meditation and stuff when I was young. But yeah, so I would do my best to just like think in myself, to like connect people and things like that. I'd ask questions if I was ever around my family and things like that. But really, when the internet came around, I was able to start researching more. And then when Ancestry.com became a thing, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. Gold Rush. I'm going to tell you about Gold Rush, because Gold Rush was crazy. I'm so happy now I can see in the chat. Like, so
can
yeah.
You see?
But I'm like,
for the people who are listening on podcast platforms and stuff, it's a question from Jason. He said, does she see anything on her time on the show Gold Rush?
Okay,
that's
so
awesome.
Yeah,
you used to work on TV sets or TV shows and stuff, right?
Well, actually, no. Actually, what happened with that is this. Okay, so I've worked with Netflix before. I did some background acting when they did The Highwaymen, and The Highwaymen was a movie about Bonnie and Clyde, because where I'm living at right now, Bonnie and Clyde, where they were assassinated at, is like not too far from here, and it was really weird because also on The Highwaymen, they filmed the ambush scene in the exact place where the ambush is. And I have a video up of that too, of where that happened at. So I've worked with Netflix doing background acting, and I've always been very interested to do film stuff. And me and my friend TJ, we used to be on here like in 2014 making short films and just having fun with it and stuff, and then it branched off to where like we're both doing research, and we're like, wow, this has been a whole process of like all this stuff going on YouTube. But so what happened? Okay, so yeah, Gold Rush, I didn't even want to go there. I didn't even want to be on Gold Rush. I wasn't even supposed to be there. I was going to go see The Cure in New Orleans. I had tickets to go see The Cure in New Orleans. But then it was like somebody said, hey, my dad's going to be on the show and wants me to go, and will you go with me? And I was like, I don't really want to do that. Like, I got stuff to take care of here. And plus, I wanted to go see The Cure. But the director kept calling and saying, we want you to be on the show for the drama. And I was like, what drama? I'm no drama, And
scripted.
So like
they're going to script it in there.
And so, first off, reality shows are not reality. If anybody doesn't know that, it was absolutely, just joking. I'm sure hopefully everybody knows that by now. But
everybody watching the show right now, they know. They all know.
Yeah. I hope people are not like annoyed with me already, because I know I'm like, I have already caught myself like jumping around like a million places. So
no, you're doing great.
Yeah.
You're doing awesome.
And in Arizona, when I was up there, okay, so first off, the director, who was, look, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I don't even care. I think that guy I don't know if he knows. That's the guy that I think was Saint Germain. Now listen, here's why.
Oh, we're going to jump to Saint Germain.
Because look, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it. Okay, so
let's talk about it.
Here's one weird thing that happened. Okay, so I got there and I was up there with the guy to film the show with his dad. I didn't know I was going to even be on film until the director was like, I'm just like watching everybody film, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to be the star of the show?" And I thought he was just joking, and so I said, "Yeah." And then he was like, "Okay, good." And then so he was like, "Because you remind me of my good friend, you might know her." And I said, "Well, who is it?" And he was like, "Her name's Lady Gaga." And I was like laughing. And then on the second day, he told me, he was like, "Hey, guess what?" He was like, "I was wrong. You're cooler than my friend Lady Gaga." And I was like, "Oh, stop," But anyways, so when I was up there, I was not thinking at all anything about Saint Germain, nothing at all. Like, I knew only the little bit that I knew about Saint Germain was that about the New Orleans stuff, about Saint Germain being a vampire, and some bad stuff happened, right? They got some stories about where there was some bad stuff that happened at New Orleans. I don't know, but who knows what's all true too about that. However, though,
I believe it. I think that I think I did a remote viewing target on this, and I do believe
like that.
Did he?
This picture that you have up, let me tell you why. Okay, when I was there, I was not thinking about Saint Germain, anything like that. Okay, so on the second day of filming, I went outside to ground. I put both of my palms on the top of this mountain. I'm on top of this mountain. I felt like my palms were like magnetized to the earth for like a second, and it felt weird, like a shock in my body. And I felt this thing. It wasn't a voice. Like, I don't hear voices, but it was like how when you're trying to remember something that you've forgotten and it's driving you crazy, and then that moment that you remember it, when you're just like so relieved, like it feels like that. Like that's how things talk to me and let me know things. So it just feels like you're just remembered something that you had forgotten and you've really been trying to remember. It said Jim Morrison's bones. And so like my whole, like, it was just like Jim Morrison's bones, like, no, just that. Okay. And then we went down to film, and then I was busy filming the whole time anyways. But, so when that happened, also that place is near Phoenix. Phoenix is on the 33 degree. And plus it's just the desert, and it's just aliens in the desert, I mean, like
33rd degree parallel. Yeah, the 33rd degree parallel right there is what you're referring to.
Yeah, so it's there. It's also here, though, too, where I'm at now, where I live and where I was born and everything like that. So it's here, and it's also there where I was in Arizona. So, and okay, so yeah, when I got home, I started, like, my research just started basically doing itself. It was crazy. It was like seriously, my laptop was just like, hey, here, like, okay, so it would happen like this. I would be looking for something, like to research something, and it would show me something so much. It wouldn't answer that for me, but it would give me something so much more huge that was even bigger than what I was looking for. And so that's when I saw this picture that you have up now of Saint Germain, and I was like, that's him. That is him, because he looks just like this, but he doesn't have the hair. He had like long hair. And I mean, look, I don't even like see. And I mean, because I don't want to like say this guy's name, put him on the spot or whatever. Because what if I'm wrong? Sometimes I'm wrong. I'm not always right. But with
you don't have to say his name. Don't say his name.
Like,
but he wouldn't look the same as this.
So
this is like Baroque period or something. You know what I mean? Like this is.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I mean, this one actually here was supposed to. I think he was. I mean, this looks like George Washington or something. Back in the 1700s. This Saint Germain, but the Saint Germain that was in New Orleans, I think this was his house actually, in the French Quarter, I guess. And he was supposed to have come here, I guess, from France back in like 1898 or 18. There's like a debate on whether it was like the 1890 something or 1902. Or something like that.
Yeah.
But he eventually left because he kind of got found out, I think, and just kind of disappeared overnight. So he may be, I mean, he would definitely not still have that same haircut. Okay. in the 2000s
Yeah.
or whenever that was. I mean, how long ago was this? Like how many years ago?
That was okay, so I remember that the Saint Germain that looks just like the guy that I think was Saint Germain, because he also was letting me know, you are the best version of you when you're being you. Just do whatever the F you want and just keep being you and don't listen to anybody and you do you. Look, it was all the Saint Germain messages, but it was kind of like different. But anyway, that was like Saint Germain from the 1700s. He looks just like the director of Gold Rush, is all I'm going to say.
I'm going to go do my research. I'm going to go look after the show today. I'm going to see who this director is. I have a friend that was working on a show called Gold Rush up in Alaska. I think it was Gold Rush in Alaska.
Yeah.
He's in the chat sometimes here, but it's not, can't be the same person because he looks nothing like that. He doesn't look like that. I don't think. I mean, but wow. Okay, so we've got Matthew Delph. He's a good friend of mine. He's also a field researcher with me, and he has done. He's in New Orleans all the time. He's done like boots on the ground vampire research and stuff in New Orleans. He just said he still visits, and that was a wig. Well, no, I bet you that was a wig, of course. Okay, but but yeah, he still visits. I don't know. Matthew might have had a beer with him at one of the bars out there. I don't know. Down in New Orleans. So he never gave any clues of like he wasn't drinking red wine all the time, was he? Did you notice? I'm just kidding. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's wild that you would like have these experiences, know something was a little weird about it, and then it kind of hits you later on down the road, like, oh man, I think that might have been Saint Germain.
And also this, like when I met him, there was that same energetic connection that I said later on I had with like Arkeem. It's like an energetic connection. Like my friend TJ, like when I met him the first time, energetic connection. It's like, you've known these people from the past. And like, I know that, a lot of people, we all feel that way sometimes. And it's normally, I'm assuming it's because it was because we've known each other from the programs, just been on different missions together and things like that. And yeah, like, so it was crazy. But yeah, like I said, like after I come back from Arizona, and it was like, oh my gosh, it was so crazy. Like there was this Southwest flight that, first off, I don't know who, like, okay, so I got through TSA 4 times with bullets in my bag. I didn't put I did put bullets in my bag, but I didn't know that they were in there in my bag.
Bullets they're not as bad as the pew-pews. You shouldn't have it. They won't let you take a pew-pew through. Right.
So
I don't know the rules about bullets.
It was just weird. It was weird. The flight was weird. I felt like I was not on the earth because first off, I was in the sky, so I guess obviously I wasn't on the earth, but you know what I'm talking about. I felt somewhere different, like it switched me somewhere different. And then when I come back, that's when everything was like totally even more weird and scary. And basically it's been like this. It's like the deeper I go in my research, the scarier it has gotten,
Yeah.
As far as, just like people attacking me and stuff like that. Sorry, I just lost what I was.
Oh, it's okay. Well, okay. So you went home after all this, or you went back and then you started doing all this like research, and it was just kind of expanding out. I mean, I'm a firm believer that nothing is a coincidence, and we meet everybody for a reason. Okay. And whether that is just to download and activate each other. I mean, I know I'm thinking on a galactic scale these days. Okay. I'm thinking on like so outside the box. It's ridiculous. And so I know that, I mean, even you and I, Erin, we've met for a purpose. as well. And we may be giving out, activations to people that are watching this broadcast right now. Okay. To remember who they are, remember, things that have happened and things that are going to happen. And, your mission, should you choose to accept it, like that kind of stuff. But it's, it's led you down a path of enlightenment in other areas. Okay. And so that spawned you to like spurred you. I don't know if that was the right word, spawn, but it kind of led you on that path to look into other stuff. And then you start realizing, that you've been in some other kind of programs and things like that. Now, circling back around to you being a relative of Admiral Byrd, okay, of the Antarctica expeditions, with the diary where he claims he and his co-pilot, and this is his personal diary. This is hearsay. This is not I don't think they ever made this public. I don't think, with our government admitting to it, but he says that he had gone into inner Earth, had been kind of he and his co-pilot were kind of guided, I think, by UFOs, if I'm not mistaken, into like hollow Earth, and met with ultra terrestrials or interterrestrials, I think is how they were saying it. Extraterrestrials for people, you can say it that way, down there. And you are of that lineage. And do you think that you having that, being in that bloodline, let's just call it a bloodline, okay, the ancestry, do you think that has something to do with potentially you being in some sort of programs as an adult and as a kid?
I think absolutely it happens through bloodlines. And I mean, I think probably there's a vast majority of people that go through stuff and have abductions and stuff, and they never even think about it or figure it out because they, back to what your question was, I think it absolutely has to do with genetics and bloodlines and stuff like that. And I found so much interesting stuff in the genetics when I was researching them, and the more I'd look, some things would be blocked. Like I would be trying to research someone in my family, and I wouldn't be able to find like any information. And I'd be like, why is this so hard when some of the information comes easier? Well, but also it has to do, I think, with like genetic memory. And then also it has to do with some of the stuff is like, for me anyway, it's like some of those things, it's like I have to have this certain type experience first, and then I can get the information. And that's just like a me personal thing. But so yeah, Admiral Byrd. Okay, so we share a set of grandparents, and it was Colonel William Byrd. And he was the founder or co-founder of Richmond, Virginia. And I can't remember exactly the year, I'm sorry, but it's funny because they called William Byrd the Black Swan of Westover Plantation, because Westover was their plantation. And I was thinking about like the Black Swan event, like I'm talking about there. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was pretty strange. But so that is how I'm connected to Admiral Byrd, and many strange things in Antarctica, lots of Yahtzee things going
bases
on, and all those things. And then so that happening with Admiral Byrd. Oh, also something I wanted to mention was this. Okay, so Admiral Byrd died on March 11. What was this? I think 19.
I have his tombstone right here, actually. Let me take this down. It says
57.
Yeah, 57, March 11th of 57. That's right.
March 11, 57. Okay, and then I wanted to say, Valiant Thor when Valiant Thor, the book about like the stranger in the Pentagon and things like that.
Yeah.
When Valiant Thor was here, it was 5 days after Admiral Byrd's death. And so I just wanted to like point that out because there's something to that, and I haven't quite figured out exactly what it is yet, but there's something. Because Admiral Byrd died, 5 days later, you have Valiant Thor at the Pentagon.
White House, or the Pentagon.
Right. So that's
I wonder if there's I bet there's a connection. There's probably a connection there.
Absolutely.
Who knows? Man.
And then
it's
also
wild.
Yeah, and then also my papa, his birthday was March 11th. So I mean, and it's all like it's numbers and there's codes and so much stuff. Yes, absolutely. So, can you hear that noise? That
it's
is
not
so
bad.
loud out there.
I heard it for a second. It's okay. It's not bad.
I'm sorry, everybody. There's guys like cutting trees out there. I didn't know they were going to be
that
out
always
there
happens.
Today.
Erin, there's always some kind of interference when we're talking about important stuff. I promise you, it happens every show where we're talking about something important. This is important. Okay, I think this is an important show today, and I'm going to tell you, there's a bunch of reasons why it's important. But I don't cover the bloodline so much when it comes to the things that we talk about, and I do talk about the secret space program quite a bit here. We talk about vampires, of course. We talk about all the creatures of the night, shapeshifters, people that turn, stuff like that. But bloodlines are a thing that I have not been haven't talked about very much. And plus the fact that we get to have someone who is of a pretty amazing bloodline here. I mean, we're all a good bloodlines, everybody. Okay. I'm not discriminating. Okay. But I'm just saying, like, this could explain some of why people are paid, not only for, UFO or alien abductions, experiments, things like that, be targeted individuals and people who've been taken into these secret space programs. And so that's why I think it's really important to have you on the show today, so we can actually discuss this like this. I think this is great. I think it's great. And I'm sorry that you are coming to the realization that you've been part of these programs, because it's kind of traumatic, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It's very it's a relief to know, because I've been trying to figure out like what is going on, what is truly going on forever. For my whole life, I've been trying to figure that out. But it's also heavy to know. And it's like, and it is very traumatizing, because there's a lot of like, it makes you emotional. Like when you learn about there was people that you've been working with and partners with in the programs and stuff, and like they're no longer here. And then a lot of times, like even with the person that I told you who found me in 2019 and began to tell me about the programs, like when he was gone, like I carried around for a long time. I was like, did something happen to him? Because he was warning me. Because he told me, he was saying, I feel like I'm going to die. I feel like someone's going to kill me, and I would tell him, I would be like, do not say that, everything's going to be fine. And like, we made plans. I was going to go, we were going to get him. We're going to go flee our enemies, because he had a lot of bad stuff going on with him too. But like I said, it was me just trying to find him is how I found out. That's even how I found James's channel or anything about the super soldier programs and stuff like that. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, at the end of it, it's all connected. Like all of this is all connected, all these strange experiences. But yeah, also in my genetics, and I found out about the Townsends. Okay, so my dad's paternal grandmother, my nanny, they said she never really talked about her family a lot or anything, and she was clearly, you could tell she was like a lot Indigenous American. Well, so she was the one when I told you that like I couldn't find anything on her, and then it was like it seems like I have to have an experience first and then to get it. I was in St. Francisville one time. Something told me I need to go to St. Francisville. I'm driving over this bridge, and when I was driving over the bridge, I saw a sign in my head. It was a green sign, and it said Weyanoke. And then I drive past the sign that's a green sign that says Weyanoke, and then I was like, Weyanoke and this bloodline information that I can't access is related. So when I went home and I started to research, that's when I found out about George Washington's Culper spy ring. And that was the connection there. So they were used for like espionage. And they have like different clever ways that they would do stuff, you know, like writing notes with just like kind of like symbols and stuff too. But then also other stuff, like certain ways that like the women would hang the clothes on the line. It would mean a certain thing, you know, and this was like, it was like, British stuff was going on, you know, and they're trying to spy and everybody's spying on each other. And it's just a lot of stuff that is so loud out there. I'm so sorry and embarrassed.
It's okay.
If everybody
can barely, no, don't. It's okay. I can barely hear it personally. I've got earbuds in. Okay. So don't worry.
Also,
I know
I'm going to move my phone around a little bit because I need to plug it in.
You go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
My God,
no, this is awesome.
I'll be more prepared next time.
No, you're doing great. God. This is wonderful. I'm just happy to have you here and to talk to you about this kind of stuff. I didn't know that they had spy rings and stuff. That sounds like something, you know, you ever watched A Christmas Story? The little boy that's going to get his eye shot. He's like, they'll shoot your eye out. He sends in for that. It's like a decoder device. It's kind of like that. That's what I thought about when you said that. I was thinking about that decoder device. He was like, be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
Yeah, I love that movie. That's like one of my mom's favorite movies.
Yeah, mine too. You'll shoot your eye out. Okay, so be careful with those Red Riders, y'all. I was going to say Santa Claus brought my son one year, but anyways. So wow. Okay, you learned a whole lot of interesting history though, in doing all this research, and stuff on bloodlines, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, so it's just been crazy. Oh, also I wanted to tell everyone this. Okay. So first off, keeping a dream journal is super important. And I suggest everybody do it because it could teach you a lot. It can help you remember a lot about yourself and past lives and other people that you know and stuff like this. And especially if you've been in the programs. So, okay, when I started keeping a dream journal, I was 12 years old. What happened was this. I woke up, I had a dream. Do you remember the band Ace of Base?
Of course, right? I saw the sign. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So in my dream, it was a full music video of Ace of Base. This was not one of their songs though. But it was one of their songs in my dream because it was absolutely Ace of Base. It was a full length music video. Ace of Base was flying through space on their instruments. So it would be like the bass player would be like the bass would be like a hoverboard, and he'd be on it and flying through space. And like the girls with the microphones that weren't flying on anything, like they just had a microphone and they were just like floating all through space. It was so cool. The song was so amazing. It was better than any of Ace of Base's songs that I had actually heard. So I woke up and I was like, that's crazy, but that was like truly incredible. And I got to write that down. So I wrote it down. That's when I started keeping a dream journal. And man, so do that. But yeah, so that dream, that was some program stuff. And that's about like, because one time when I was listening to Arkeem talk about the music stuff in the programs, that's how I was able to connect it. I was like, okay, that is what that was. And I was 12 years old when that happened. But
yeah, I was
in my
actually going to
dreams,
mention that. Oh, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry, but I was going to
no,
say, like, Arkeem has really talked about that a lot, about the music and even the music industry being so heavily connected with the secret space programs, and how he's written a bunch of music that has been, it's popular today, and people that are in these programs get no credit for. It's almost like they've got actors fronting, and using all their music here. Somebody even mentioned, somebody in the chat, and I took the comment down, so I don't know where it went, but it was there. I think it was Leah was saying that maybe she heard that Valiant Thor had taken Admiral Byrd. I don't know why I keep saying Admiral. I mean admirable or whatever. But had taken him to Mars. Okay, like taking him to Mars. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Okay, I know that sounds wild to the normal people, but things like that are not out of the realm of possibility, right?
yeah,
Not saying it happened, but that could be a rumor. Rumors go around about stuff, especially when you're talking about Valiant Thor. And I mean, there's pictures of Valiant Thor at the White House and at the Pentagon. I mean, so I think he existed. I think a lot of these people have existed. And like Nighthawk, William Nighthawk's in the chat, and he said that it's all going to come to the light soon. And I believe that. I believe it. And I think that, Erin, you're part of the disclosure. Actually, I think you are, even being on the show today. So it's pretty fantastic.
I am so happy to be here. I am so happy to be heard, and to have someone like who is actually interested to hear me explain this stuff, because I get shut down all the time because nobody wants the truth out. I
do.
I don't
want the truth
about. I know you are the truth. And everybody really does. Even people that think they're trying to close. Look, this is all one design. And we're all part of it. And so I don't know. It's crazy, and it's been crazy. But yeah, I feel absolutely deeply, deeply connected. To everything that's going on, because I have, like I said, my whole life I've known something really crazy was going on, that it was a worldwide issue, that nobody's talking about it, and that I'm a part of having to figure it out, and like I said, the more research I did, and the deeper I got in my research, the more that like people around me just started to change. But people around me also told me that I had changed, that I had changed, and but it's true. But because
you're supposed to change too, a little bit, but the information changes you.
Is evolution. It's evolution. Yeah. It's our minds, like even animals and everything, it's like everything's evolving right now. Like, honestly, I'm just here to assist with ascension for like everyone, so I'm a part of that. And, I mean, there's a ton of light workers, and it's like, even if we can all be light workers, there are ones of us who can't comprehend what the other ones are saying, but that's because it's just like we each, have our own design. So, as long as I believe, as long as we understand our own design, we're doing what we're supposed to do, because like you said, we're all finding each other here,
Yeah.
when like the I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah. And it's, we're all on the same frequency right now. Okay. Everybody's tuned into this channel. Everybody who's listening, I guess we're all meant to be here right now. Okay. Everybody that's listening to it is meant to hear it right now. And there's been a time where it wasn't time for people to hear it, maybe. Okay. And maybe people, even myself, like none of us were ready to hear some of this. And so now we're ready. Now we understand it. And I think the cool thing about my channel over here, and I have such a wide variety of people with different backgrounds and experiences that come on, and we do. My goal is to connect dots, okay, and to connect dots and see how things do intermingle with different subjects. I mean, I'm a field researcher, so I've started off searching for Bigfoot. Okay. But through Bigfoot, I've had UFO experiences. I've had close contact with ETs. I grew up with ghosts, in my house and stuff. And we've got portals, and we've got doppelgangers. I've heard my own voice out in the woods before. I mean, just weird stuff, you name it, I've experienced it just about. And if I haven't, I'm going to bring a guest on that has. So, but even with the secret space program stuff, with my remote viewing skills, okay, I'm able to get targets from them, or even get targets that involve the secret space program. That's how I found out about the secret space program, because it kept coming up in my data for targets, and I didn't even know what it was. So that's how we're all expanding with the knowledge and the information now, is bringing all these groups together, and it's been a progression. And so, yeah, that's why I love having you here to talk about this, because we're ready right now to hear it. We're ready. My crew's ready. The Cryptid Huntress crew's ready.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
It's
maybe not everybody
and
else
truly
is ready, but we are.
Like timing, like you hear speak of like divine timing. And that truly is what it is, and it does have to do, like, I'm trying to, like, I like to always like pay attention to you when you're talking. I'm trying to make eye contact with you. I'm trying to also read some of these comments, and I do see, so I'm trying to do both. And I'm sorry if I'm not doing a good job,
You're
but I'm seeing
awesome.
people talk about like the dreams and everything. Okay. Our dreams truly are when we're really awake. This is what I feel, what I believe. I've also seen some, like I've seen other people talk about this. This is even in like some undisclosed CIA documents. Your dream time, you're getting more truth than when you're fully, when waking hours, which now I think we've switched timelines, and we shifted, we're on the positive timeline. So that's why now that we've all worked together to shift to the positive timeline, that's why truth is able to come out now, whereas before it was just like they just shut us down. But also, like you said, some people, they can't handle it. That's why they had to do like a slow drip of disclosure. You can look back in like the 1950s. Like, I love to watch the show The Outer Limits. I know everybody knows about Twilight Zone, but really, really, if you want to look at something crazy, go watch some episodes of The Outer Limits. Because so The Outer Limits, there was actually one episode, I think it was episode 2 in season 2, but the episode is called Soldier. And when I watched that, I just wept. I cried, because I was like, this was before I even found James's channel or anything. I saw that and I knew, I said, this is something connected to what I am searching for. And like, I always knew I was missing from a group of people. I felt this when I was super young. I was very sad because I could feel it, because I felt isolated, and I felt like I was taken, like it was like I felt like I was taken away from a group of people who I loved very much. And that's because that's actually what happened, because, and I think it was just like I don't know. And there's so much. And also because of the programs, it makes me confused, because I can't keep up with like when this happened, when that happened, because the thing is, it could be like, you could be a kid and have an experience of where they take you, and you're actually growing into an adult and having experiences. I get get
I understand
like
what you're saying.
I'm so sorry. And like I said, I hope people aren't annoyed with me right now because I know I'm just like jumping around
Nobody's annoyed with you,
from
girl.
like all kinds of stuff. But it's a lot. It's so
It's a lot.
much.
I get like that when I'm doing my shows a lot of times. I'm like, all right, y'all, this is just a lot. Okay. Like it's hard to
Yeah.
organize your thoughts in your brain sometimes because there's so much and there's so many angles to it, so many facets to what we're talking about. And but there's a lot of people in the chat that can 100% understand exactly what you're talking about right now. And
Thank
Green
you.
Eyed Crow was asking, Erin, have you heard of them doing this program in Utah? And are there any
I
programs in
don't
Utah that you're
know.
aware of?
I don't know anything about Utah. Now, is Utah the state with like, I mean, and I'm not being no way about like anything about religions or anything when I ask this, but is Utah the state that has like a whole lot of Mormons?
I think so.
Because if so, I'm
Yes.
sure they're doing programs there because that's
Mhm.
something, and I don't know enough on it to speak on it, but it is, yeah, like that's like
That's
some
another rabbit
trafficking
hole.
stuff, I think.
Yeah. See, I was going to say that's just a whole other rabbit hole. We could do a whole show on that. I bet my friend Bryce has done a show on that before. I guarantee you Bryce has over at Esoteric Atlanta. So go check out Esoteric Atlanta. Shout out to Bryce. That's a good friend of mine here. And she has actually maybe potentially, I don't know if she's been in any programs, but she's suffered some, what do you call it? SAR, I think. She went to a private school here in Georgia, and she talks about it. I think she talks about it on her channel, occasionally, but it has really affected her entire life. So, and she talks about bloodlines a lot on her channel. She is was it an O negative? She's a RH negative, and she's very vocal. I told her I will never announce on my channel what my blood type is. I don't want no vampires coming to bite me. Okay. So
Yeah,
I will
like
not tell what I am.
I would be like, say if somebody was doing a video and they're like, say this was back in the past before I started speaking out on my own about this stuff, So say it would be somebody had a video I would put on there, and it would say it would be a video about MK Ultra and Jim Morrison and stuff. So if I would write in there about me being targeted, and if I would list my blood type, and then people would tell me, oh, you don't need to be writing that on here. But here's the truth of it, really. It doesn't matter what we do or don't say, because they already know. It's like they know who we are, and they are already like, before we're born, they're already watching us before we're born and all those things. It's creepy. They're so creepy. I mean, like, I ain't trying to be.
They know who we are
like,
before we know who we are. Okay, that's the
Exactly.
truth.
Exactly. And that's why they hide the truth from us, because they don't want us to know who we are, but nice try, because we know. And, thanks to like us finding each other, like I said, like I told you about, like Arkeem helped me remember so much, and then Arkeem telling me like, hey, you worked with this person in the programs, you worked with this person. And then when I am listening to, these other people speak, I am just like getting flooded with memories and more information, even about myself, that like I've been searching for forever. So it's just the time, like truly, for all that to happen. So
well, yes, like what I said, like just you and I talking right now is probably activating some memories in some people too. And I find it really interesting that a lot of people I know, when I've talked to James and to Arkeem and all those guys and ladies that have been part of the programs, when we were up at Montauk, I do know that they talked about when they just meet somebody, they just get an automatic download. And they know that they've been in programs with those people before. And I did want to address this question real quick. Bridget Chow says, are Saint Germain the vampire and Saint Germain the patron saint the same people? I don't think so. I don't think so. Not that I know of. Saint Germain, I don't know.
I would say this. because I've thought about that too. Like I've sat here and I've been like, okay, but this also karma,
Yeah.
reincarnation, and all that. Okay. So like I don't think Saint Germain has just been one being for this whole entire time. Because I mean the guy that I think could be Saint Germain, like he was like I've checked him out. He was a kid and he had parents, you know, in like the 80s or the 70s or whatever, you know, like in the 70s. He's older than me, but you know, like I
So
think like 10 years or something.
so it
10 or
wasn't like
12 years
Tom
older than
Cruise.
me.
Oh, sorry, like Tom Cruise, like on Interview with the Vampire. It's not like he stayed the same age, and or the little girl that got
Right.
bit. She's like centuries old, but she's still a little girl. This guy, it's
Yeah.
you know, you and I, Erin, were talking before the show. We're kind of talking about how spirits can hop from body to body too, right? And that's
Yep.
also a possibility as well. Is that movie? I can't
Yeah.
remember the name of that movie with Denzel Washington, but I've seen it happen. I have witnessed it with in my own real living, like my life here in the 3D.
Yeah.
As a spirit has jumped from body to body amongst people that I knew,
Yeah.
and it was completely obvious. And so that's also a possibility as well.
Yeah. I
This is a
think
weird
that,
world.
and I think like, yeah, it's just weird. Everything's so weird. There's like nothing that is out of the question at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, like it's so much happening right now that I can't even research anymore because it's happening too fast. I'm having so many things that are happening like within me, just receiving downloads. It used to just be when I was asleep, but now it's like almost all the time. Like I'm getting them all the time of just like, hey, this and this, remember this time, remember this? Oh yeah, that's what this is. You know, just like basically my downloads are just answering all of my questions for me that I've always had. But it's that like I could talk to you, I can talk to, you know, anyone from the programs, you know, stuff like that. And some people though just they can't comprehend this stuff just because it's so crazy. But I'm like, yeah, it sounds crazy. It is crazy, but it's also true. And that's why it's really crazy. It's because all these things that people can't understand just because it's too complicated and it just seems like too much of like a movie. It's like I feel like my whole life has been a movie. And then also the way that like with Gold Rush and the cameras and all that stuff. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Also, speaking of Gold Rush and then the music and the programs and stuff like that. Okay, so the song by America or Horse with No Name. When I come back from Arizona, and I mean, I've been hearing that song forever, for my whole life, you know, but when I come back from Arizona and I listen to that song, I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what just went down. That is exactly what just happened to me. And it's funny because it talks about like, and also Arkeem said he co-wrote that song in the programs. You know, I was supposed to be down there for 3 days only, and it ended up being 9 days. I took like, this was when I was still like on psychiatric medications and they had me going to the doctor and all that stuff. I got off of all that stuff on my own. I'm not a doctor. I'm not suggesting anybody do anything. You do what you feel aligned to do. But I knew that for me, I needed to do that. And so I did. So I took 3 days only of medications up there. And like I said, it ended up being 9 days. However, the song clearly states about being in the desert for 9 days. And then, you know, all the stuff it says in the song, it's all the stuff that happened to me when I was doing Gold Rush. And then in the very end of the song, when it talks about there's a city underground and it talks about, and the humans give no love. I'm like, that's me. That's a song about me being there in the desert. And I was thinking at first just within myself. And then that's when Arkeem told me about him doing that song in the programs. It's just like, it's so crazy. I don't know. And it's just like the information that I have that's going on, like even me here talking to you, it's like there's like what I said earlier about before we got on here. And I was like, it's so much that I just wish like we could all be telepathic and I didn't even have to speak anymore. I could just give you all of the information that I have, because there's so much to keep it all straight and to say it in a way that it makes sense and is like a full story, because it's been a lot of stuff. There's the stuff about the genetics and the hearing the music out of my ceiling after I come out of the coma. Oh, also when I went back home, when I got well enough to go home, we had so many lights and stuff in the sky there. And like, even like my gran, and she was driving home from work one night, she saw all these like crazy lights in the road. She had stopped to watch them, and I'm like, here's one thing. Anybody can call me a liar and it's not going to hurt my feelings because I know what's going on truly, but gran don't lie. And like, so nobody can say that my gran is lying about seeing UFOs and stuff like that. No. I was just joking. I wasn't being like, I mean, I'm not joking. I'm serious. All that did just happen, but I'm not saying I would like fight anybody for saying my gran's a liar, because I don't fight. I'm just like, peace, I just want to be peace.
That comes with age and experience there. Just chilling. Just, all right. If you don't believe me, that's cool. Who cares? I'm the same way today. Okay. And Isaac 9 has a question. They keep asking, where are you? Are you from Arizona? They want to know if you're from Arizona.
No, I am from Louisiana. I was born at a place. Yeah, I was born at a place called Bernice, Louisiana, and it is like right on the 33 degree. So it's like a vampire town. You could look online, look at some pictures of it, and yeah, it looks like a vampire town, because truly it is. I think it's weird stuff, and it's as far as like vampires, it's the energy that they're after. It's what they call it, the loosh. Yeah, it's that. And it's people that keep people down, keep people negative, keep people feeling bad about themselves and all those things so they could stay on top. So just don't let them, and just know, like, don't let nobody steal your energy.
Don't let anybody steal your energy, y'all. I talk about it. I talk about that a lot. I try to end every show with just reminding everybody, don't live in fear. Okay. Because that is what's fueling the negative forces. Okay. The dark side. They want us to live in fear. They want us to be stressed out and worried and not see the beauty that surround us. And this world is a beautiful place. And it's usually the people who've been through hell and have seen the darkest of the dark nights and the dark areas of life, that are really, really the trailblazers right now that are exposing a lot of the truth. And that includes yourself. People may not know this. I have been through hell many times. And I know I got a cheery disposition here. Okay. But it's only because I've been through hell. Okay. I've clawed my way out of it many times, at least 5 or 6 times, maybe at the least this lifetime. Okay. So I don't want anyone else to have to go through what we've been through.
Yeah. It's crazy because people, and it just truly is a spiritual battle. It's they don't want the light here. And like I said, even the ones that live with just the darkness or whatever, like I can't access all of that. So like, I don't know how they think or what they think, or, as far of it like that, because I can't access that information. I only can access what I can access. But Yeah, Max.
Yeah.
I,
Mention Max Spears.
Man. Yeah. I just, I want everybody, basically what I'm just trying to say is I want everybody to make it.
Mhm.
I mean, even if there is people out there that's been doing stuff that is like not good, like even for people out there who were feeling like they're not a good person, it doesn't matter. Like what you've done in the past, like let it go, release everything toxic and just
Mhm.
do better. And just we can all make it, and it's like we're all here. Like I give so much thanks to God, creator, for creating all of us, allowing us all to be on this mission, allowing all of us to work together. Like I just give so much thanks, and I feel so sad about that. Sorry, about that we've lost who we've lost, because everybody was just working really hard together, but I don't know. And that's why I just want everybody, I want everybody to make it. I want everybody to be happy. That's just like all I want in my whole life. It's just, I just want people to be happy. And I'm sorry, I'm a baby. I told you I was going to try to not cry. And like, here it is. My bad. I'm so sorry. I'm very emotional though, all the time. I really am. Like, my emotions are huge.
You're passionate.
But yeah.
Well, I can feel it. I mean, we all can feel it. And it's very brave of you to even talk about all this stuff too. And it takes a lot for people like yourself and me and Arkeem and Max Spears and even James Ring, everybody. It's not easy talking about these things that we've all been through. And and I know I mostly talk about Bigfoot and Dogman and stuff, and all these scary things like vampires and stuff. But I've also experienced things like you have as well. So so it's wonderful that you're here today, and I know the audience very much can relate as well to what we're talking about today. And yeah, I mean, you just being in that frequency, right? Being in the frequency, it kind of, you're almost like a magnet, kind of like I am to the paranormal too. And so, gosh, when you were saying, you're talking about the vampires up there where you live, I was thinking about that show. What is it called? True Blood or something? Is it True Blood?
True Blood is my life. And like, I am telling you what, I've been saying this. I've been telling people, if you come up here and look at this place, you will know exactly that this is True Blood. This is seriously bon ton. It seriously is.
Or maybe not.
If you do, not. There is like a ton of stuff I could show you. We should go to I mean, oh man, there's so much I want to tell you. So much, because I have I know I've been for this last little bit of time, it got kind of dark and sad or whatever, but also a lot of really miraculous stuff. And I want to it just, oh my gosh, there's this thing going on about, there was this one time I had a little mermaid kite, and then it got I got caught in this wind tunnel because I wanted my kite to fly, got stuck in a tree. And then there's the Disney and the Little Mermaid with the Mary Magdalene. Sorry, I'm just there's just kind of a list of words in my head right now, and so I'm kind of going off topic, and I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just saying all this so I don't forget it for in the future, but it's all connected. And this is about, and it is about a bloodline. It is about this, all of this disclosure, it truly is about that. And
you're like the main character of that show, actually, because you're is she like a fairy or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
See,
at the end of the show, at the end of the show, she finds out she's a fairy, and she finds out all the stuff, which the vampires and everything she already knows about in the show, because they're already public about it. But basically, it's been that they're all here, the vampires, the shapeshifters, all that stuff. They just don't talk about it because they're not in the open, but in the show they are in the open. So that's the difference. They'll be in the open now though, right?
Like, it's all exposed now. Yeah,
I'm ready. Like, I guess we're doing that now, you know. But
I'm gonna send Matthew Delph up to where you live so he can do some vampire hunting. Okay, Matthew Delph is still in the chat. I bet you anything. He's probably still listening. Matthew, well, maybe me and Matthew can make a trip up there and come hang out, meet some real vampires. We'll protect you too. Okay.
I wanted to tell you, this is something that I didn't know I was going to talk about, but because I know you do your cryptid research and stuff like that, I was going to tell you about this guy that I saw. So when I was living in Monroe before I moved out here, and also Monroe, Louisiana is #1 highest crime per capita in the entire United States, and it's because it's all organized crime. I just want to say that, and I just want to say, people need to look at that if they want to look at organized crime, stuff like that, which now with the FBI is doing, like, I think they're going to get on it, all that stuff. I don't really do politics or whatever like that, so I don't have those type conversations, but I am glad for what the FBI is doing right now, finally. And that reminds me of David Lynch. Oh, I can't believe David Lynch died. Anyways, but what was I going to say?
About the organized crime, though? Oh, my gosh. Well,
yeah.
I worked in politics my entire life for the most part until I had my kid, and I still went back and worked a little while after he was born. So I'm into the politics side of stuff. I know how to work politics. I'm good at it, but I'm a diplomat.
I remember now what I was going to tell you about your cryptid research.
Yeah,
when I was living in Monroe, there was this guy. Okay, so there was this guy that was a neighbor. All of my neighbors were spies. They like almost got shot in my yard over there. But when I told people about it, nobody believed me. That was one of them. But the other one, it was this guy that would always walk around with a big stick and a dog down the street. Okay, so one day I was in the front yard. I saw this guy on all fours jump a fence with a bag in his mouth of something. It was a guy, a man, but he jumped over a fence like he was an animal. I didn't see no fur on him except for on his face and stuff. He was pretty shaggy. But yeah, so that guy was a shapeshifter. It was crazy. It was crazy.
That's
looking.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, by the way. And it could have been like, there's a lot of werewolves in Louisiana. Okay. A lot of werewolves, a lot of black magic, a lot of voodoo stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that would make sense.
People there.
Oh my God. I love it that you told me that. That's awesome. Actually, firsthand knowledge and eyewitness. I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, we have come to the end of the show today. Oh my gosh. I do have to go pick up my kid from school. This has been absolutely phenomenal. I've really enjoyed talking to you today, Erin. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you'll come back.
You're welcome. And I want to say to you, and I want to say to everybody, I am so sorry about that. It is so hard for me to stay on topic, and like, I promise you I'm going to do better though next time. It's just a lot. It's a whole lot.
Do not apologize, girl. Please don't apologize. I think you did great. And I think that we had a fantastic conversation today. I know the audience loved it. And yes, we're even getting requests to have you back again. Okay. We're going to bring you back on. You've got so many things that we could talk about, so much stuff, Erin. Okay. And we just hit the tip of the iceberg today, y'all. On the show. So what is the girl's name from that show, True Blood? Sookie or something like that?
Oh, Sookie Stackhouse.
You're the real life Sookie. Okay. I love it. Oh my gosh, Erin, tell everybody where they can find you, about your like YouTube channel. And y'all, I put her PayPal down in the description box too, if y'all want to, send donations or whatever. Give them to Erin.
Thank you so much. If you want to send something to my PayPal, like some cool monies or a gift or something, that would be awesome. And but yeah, I'm not good on like these like just naming off the URLs or anything. If you type
we've got them in the chat. We've got them. I've got them right here. My moderators have been putting it in the chat the entire show. Okay, so we've got your links here.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's super weird being me. It's been weird the whole time. I'm happy now. I mean, it's still weird, but I'm happy because things are being explained now. I'm finally starting to find stuff out, and it's really been like about within this last, and I've been researching for my entire life since I've been 5 years old. I've been trying to figure stuff out, but within since 2020, when Chase was gone, and I've been looking for Chase, because he was in the programs, but also about the last 2 years is the last 2 years that my research has been just like doing itself, and like the stuff's just like crazy. I love it though.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job, and I do enjoy your YouTube channel too. It's Erin Elizabeth. Now, there's actually a couple of Erin Elizabeth channels on YouTube, so you gotta get the right one, y'all. And so it is here. It's in the description box of the show today, and the moderators have been putting it in the chat throughout the entire show too. So yeah, so you guys go over and give her a subscribe, follow her on social media, and Erin, please come back and see us. Please.
I will.
Okay.
I definitely want to, because I want to explain this stuff better. Like I know I can do better than this.
You did great.
So
I followed you the whole show, man. You did perfect.
Well, good. I'm glad. Thank you.
You did.
I love all y'all so much. I just want to say, everybody, I love you all so much. I have always loved you so much. I have always been looking for my crew, always, my whole life. I knew you were out there, but it's just taken us a very long time. But I'm glad that we're here, and I'm glad that we are where we are now, and that we've shifted to the positive timeline. I give thanks to everybody, and I love you so much.
We love you too. Oh my gosh, I love that. You guys, thank y'all so much for all the support today. Y'all are amazing. We have the best audience on the internet, 100%. And Andrew, I wanted to say congratulations and thank you for being a member of my Hunt Club again. So thank you for that. And if you guys want to join the Hunt Club too, it's my channel membership here on the channel. You guys can do it too. Just go hit that join button. I think you got to be on a laptop or a PC or something like that to do it. But nonetheless, thank y'all so much for all the support that y'all give me. And I will see you guys back here on Wednesday. I will be back on a glitch in the Matrix. Same time, same place, different topic, different faces. Okay. Well, I'll be here. It'll be my face. But another guest. So you guys, please be safe out there. I hope everybody learned a little something today. I know I always learn something on the shows. And Erin, thank you again for being here. Stay safe out there. Keep your head on a swivel, y'all. And Erin, you be safe up there. Okay, watch out for vampires, and protect your necks, y'all. Okay, I will see you guys on Wednesday. Have a great day, y'all. And I'll see you then later. Bye.